Hello, it is so good to see you right here on the show. It's Wellness Wednesday. We apologize for starting a little bit late, but here we are. And on the conversation today, we'll be talking about breaking the flow of silence, and we'll be looking at the monthly menstrual load. And just in case you're thinking, Sasa, okay, what exactly are you talking about? We're talking about the menstrual cycle, okay? And everything else that comes in between. And I know for many of us ladies, it's one of those dreaded cycles, okay, because of the pain and the feelings and the hormones and the emotions and everything else that comes with it. But today we really want to delve deeper instead of just understanding, okay, what is the cycle, how many days and the flow and whatnot. We'll also take a sort of like a different focus today and focus on the mental impact of the same, okay? So what exactly does it look like? Well, we'll find out as we continue with the conversation today. So what you need to do is stick around until the end of the show. Before I introduce my guests, we have a question for you. And this question, I think I'll just pose the same question to my guest. But again, we have Dr. Jerry here. So Dr. Jerry, maybe you will sit one out, okay, on the question of the day. And the question is very simple. We're asking you, how do you usually describe your period? Is it a storm? Is it a battle, or is it just another day? Okay, how do you usually describe your period? Is it a storm? Is it a battle, or is it just another day? Well, keep sending in your views and your feedback on our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400. Give us a call if you want to ask any question as far as menstrual cycle and the mental health aspect of it. We have experts here who will answer all your questions, or better yet, use our social media platforms, and that is at NTV Kenya across all board, and send your views and your questions as well, okay? Matt, let's meet our guests for the day. And on my immediate left, okay? You're used to it by now because she's like, oh. So you guys are supporting me today because Wiz is not here. Yes. So on my immediate left, we have Lydia Karibi, who is a counseling psychologist. Good to see you. I really like this ensemble. There's a lot going on today, yeah?
Thank you.
You look really, really beautiful. And next to Lydia, we have Dr. Jerry Okello, the only gent amongst the ladies. How are you feeling today?
Well, I'm cool.
Yeah?
I've been dealing with the ladies.
You're dealing with the ladies? I mean, yeah, you're a gynecologist, yeah. So yeah, it's like well in your space, in your forte. Karibu sana. And we also have Jerry Kabiru, who is a menstrual advocate or menstrual health advocate?
Menstrual advocate.
Absolutely. Karibu sana. Good to see. Umekuja na nyumba yako.
Nyumba yangu yote.
Okay, nyumba ya Jerry, ambieni watu hi. And for those who don't know, nyumba yako ni akina nani? Yes. Please just tell them a little bit.
So we run an organization called Teenage Moms Empowerment in Dandora, and we link the menstruation cycle and teenage pregnancy, how it comes to be.
Absolutely. Yes. And thank you so much, guys, really, for coming by and joining in this very important conversation. And last but not least, Ule, the only person who got the memo is Chabet. Gloria Chabet is a meditation coach. Karibu sana. You look at me, why are you like?
Because every time I'm on this show, I have a
new title. You have a different title.
I know. I'm like,
I was about to ask, okay, let's quit it, Nani.
I know. I'm like, okay, to maintain human intelligence.
It is so good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
You look amazing.
Oh,
there's a lot of colors happening today, which is really beautiful.
We're talking about women.
Right?
Expect.
I know, yeah. But again, you see, when we think about women, it's a beautiful thing, and we embrace it. We just love being girls and women. But at the same time, when we think about the things we go through, menstrual cycle being one of them, it's one of those dreaded things. It's like, wait, again, when it comes, we dread. When it doesn't, we dread. So it's like, where do we get that? Yeah. But we'll focus more on then the meditation and how it helps, and you know, the whole lot, you know, in your forte. But Dr. Jerry, can we first of all just get to understand menstrual cycle? Because I was reading, and then there's menstrual cycle, ovarian cycle, uterine cycle, and I'm thinking, okay, what else is there? Can we just understand the cycle? Because they say it's like there are 4 women in one at every single day, every single point. Yes. Okay, so can we just start from there?
Well, I'll want to concentrate more on the menstrual cycle.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for having me.
Most
and what I know is menstrual cycle is something that we need to talk about, because it affects most ladies. Actually, 90% of ladies at some point are affected by menstruation.
Okay.
And it's important that we do a lot of education, awareness, so that these ladies should live a better life, a good life. Yeah.
All right.
Some menstrual cycle, if I may explain it, it's a biological process that every woman should undergo. It begins, it's usually shedding of the lining of the uterus after, or if not, ovulation has occurred, fertilization has occurred. So ovulation will occur, but if that egg is not fertilized, then usually there is a preparation that is done at the uterine level, that is inside the uterus. That is the lining of the uterus prepares itself for implantation. Implantation is now when the ovaries, the fertilized ovary aligns, attaches to the uterus, so that at least there's placenta that is going to be formed and all that, yeah? But if it does not occur, if fertilization does not occur, then this lining will shed, and then now it will be expelled out. Now, that is what now is called menstruation. It comes out as blood. So most people will think that menstruation is pure blood, but it's the lining being shed out. This can happen. Blood can as well come out because sometimes when the lining is not very prepared, well prepared, then it might expel some blood, normal blood. So sometimes it comes out with blood, and when it comes out with blood, it can lead to things like anemia or so. Now, the uterus, the way it is created, you're not supposed to have, it does not have, it's not supposed to have anything inside. If it gets, then it's supposed to be a baby. If it's not a baby, then it will react by trying to expel it out. That is now when the pain comes. Most of the time, it's prostaglandin, a hormone called prostaglandin, that usually creates the cramps, and then now the cramps will create pain. So generally, that is menstruation. Usually, it's supposed to be every month, and some people will get it after every 2 months. That is delayed. Normal menstruation, we say that if it's within a month, then it's supposed to come after every 4 weeks. Some people will get it early, that is 3 weeks. Others will get it late, even to 5 weeks. So if you get it and it goes for long, that is, most of the time the normal is supposed to be within 1 to 3 days. Others will get it 1 to 4 days, but sometimes it's prolonged. It will go even up to a week. Others will even get it to 2 weeks. Now, if there's a problem, such problems will occur due to probably hormonal imbalance or even probably infections. So if there's a problem, then you need to see a doctor and then you get treated.
Yeah, because there's a lot of confusion between regular and irregular, what's normal, what's not. And even when it comes to cramps itself, there are some people who say you're not supposed to have cramps at any given point, and then we might are like, hey, I mean, yeah, that is the hope. But there's some people who experience terrible cramps, which again we're told is not normal. So there's a lot of what's normal, what's not conversation. But even just beyond that, there's also a lot of stigma. There's a lot of you know, like negative things that are associated with menstruation, which should not be the case. And even beyond that, the focus that we're having today on mental health, okay? And that is why I said the 4 women, okay? Or the 4 different phases in one, okay? The menstruation, which you have tackled, and then there's the follicular phase, the ovulation, and the luteal phase. You will help us understand what exactly this phases looks like, and then to come to you to understand then what exactly happens in our brains. Because there's some people who are like, we cry, and then we're happy, and then we're confused, and then we're tired, okay? And so women don't really understand what that process is like. But to just pick up on where he's left, right? The hormones, can we just understand hormones and our brains and how so that regulates now the entire cycle?
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. It is great having you again. When it comes to now from a psychological perspective, where or how does menstruation come in and how does it affect our brain? Now, in terms of the brain functioning, there are certain hormones that are, we call them neurotransmitters, that help right functioning of the brain. And these neurotransmitters are dopamine. There is a serotonin levels, okay? And they are affected by whatever is happening in our bodies, you know, the nutrients that we have. So during the menstruation, what happens is that progesterone, yes, and estrogen hormones get a drop down. because at the point of after ovulation, the body, as Jerry was saying, the body is ready for an attachment, so that there is a pregnancy. So when pregnancy does not happen, progesterone and estrogen levels go down. So when they go down, again, even the and then menstruation starts, then the neurotransmitters which help our brains to be in a good space. You know, the dopamine levels help us be happy, feel good. They are feel-good hormones. And serotonin hormones help us to be regulated in terms of our brain functionality. So when it goes down, even the mind functionality also goes down. Okay. So during our period, or when a woman is menstruating, you're not the brain is not functioning optimally or maximally. Okay, and that is why now the moods, people become really dysregulated in terms of their moods. It is worse if a lady has ever had menstrual trauma. If they associate their menstruation with trauma, because every time this cycle is happening, they are reminded, the nervous system, you know, has stored the trauma inside of them. So they are reminded, this is not a good thing. This is associated with something really bad. So I'm not good enough. I am, there is the internalized inferiority. I'm not good enough the way men are good enough. You know, there are feelings of shame because, you know, we know that a period is unclean, you know, it's unclean. It is something shameful. It's something unacceptable. Even in church, you read scripture, you see that in church, people could not go to church because they were on their period. Because of their period. So you realize that menstruation comes with its own shame. It comes with its own with a bad taste in the mouth, and it affects a woman depending on how the woman experienced her first menstruation and as she grew up, how she experienced it. And also along the way, if a woman at some point ever soiled themselves, and they were laughed at, they were bullied. What do you think? The trauma, again, because that's an adverse experience, it is stored in the brain, in the body, okay? So whenever she gets her period, she's very fearful, she's very afraid, what if I soil myself again? What if somebody notices or realizes that I'm on my periods? And this is why we see, today we hide our pads. We do, right? We even have pouches whereby we put our pads so that they are not seen by anybody. We don't want our friends and even the male around us to know that we are on periods. So it's stigma and it is traumatizing. Unfortunately, it affects how a woman functions during the day, whether she's at work, whether she's at home, and it can be very adverse.
It can, and thank you for actually bringing up the whole aspect about menstrual trauma, because we don't think about that most of the time. We just think, oh, cramps, oh, all these other things, but we don't think that sometimes, listen, there's some people who actually struggle with menstrual trauma. So we'll come back and unpack more of that. But also, Jerry, probably just pick up on, because you have your family here, I know there's so many stories that come, you know, but also the fact that you are a menstrual, you know, advocate. Can we just understand, what is it that you've seen over time? Because it's 2025. Why are we still hiding our pads, you know? And why is it still stigma when it comes to like menstruation?
Yes, let's first start with the history of menstrual. AD, before ancient days, it was something different. If you go to the history, menstruation was something that was cleaning up a woman. That's why it was called mwezi. Meaning something that is coming into you new. Then we moved from the ancient time to industrialization, to religion, which religion brought down a lot of these issues, where we say it's unclean to go to the house of the Lord, it's unclean to do this. And so many of us now, when religion came into Africa, now that mind shifted from it being a cleansing or a clean thing to being a dirty thing. Fast forward to today, I work with teenage mothers and I work with teenage girls specifically. Let me just first share my personal journey. My daughter just turned 17. 17 years.
You're looking at me looking at the clock because we're due on a break and I do not want you to rush through the story. So can we take a break and then we come pick from there?
Let's take a break.
And also, Chibet, I know this is so, it's a personal, you know, conversation. It's not just we're talking about the menstrual, you know, cycle, but it's also very personal to you. Would also want to hear as well. But the question that we're asking you this morning is, how do you usually describe your period? Is it a storm? Is it a battle? Or is it just another day? The lucky ones, eh? Just another day. Yeah, we'll come back and look at your feedback when we come back from the break. Do stay with us. The show is Your World. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. And just in case you're tuning in right now, today on Wellness Wednesday, we are talking about menstruation, menstrual cycle, periods, mashiro, all those terms, okay, that we call it. And we're looking at breaking the flow of silence and the monthly mental load. And like I said, yes, we've been talking about menstruation for a while now, right here on Your World. And today we want to take a different angle, and that is look at the impact it has on mental health. And Lydia has brought up a very important point, and that is as far as menstrual trauma is concerned, which we'll be unpacking in just a second. But just to remind you, the question that we're asking you this morning is, how do you usually describe your period? Is it a storm? Is it a battle? Or is it just another day? I'll be looking at your feedback in just a second. But Jerry, before we went on a break, do you want to answer that question and then tie it to your story?
Yes.
Okay. Which one are you? Where are you? A storm, a battle, or just another day?
In my 20s, I was just another day.
Oh, wow.
In my 30s, I got into a battle.
Okay.
And now I am above, heading to 4th floor.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And now it's a storm. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And these are things no one told me. But before I continue, can I say hi to the people in Dandora? Because there is no way the whole of Dandora is watching. Watu wa Dandora, habari yenu, asubuhi ya leo na wawakilisha.
Hey! Okay. We see.
Yes.
There's something that you've mentioned, and we've been told that the older you grow, the lesser the pain.
Yes.
But now here you're saying, no, it's actually the other way around.
Remember, I was a teenage mother.
Okay.
My daughter just turned 17 years old. Yes, so for me, getting my menstrual, and during that time, it was normal. Let me say, I never even understood what a cramp is. I never understood what the moods were. I used to hear people saying, akona mashiro, you know, just an expression, and for me, it was normal. But when I turned 30, I started having the lower back ache.
Not fun.
Not fun. And then at workplace, I started having days that I perform very well, and there are days that, you know, you literally, even if you put a gun on my head, nothing will happen. And I never understood all this. I used to think maybe I'm stressed, maybe I'm just going through life, until I spoke to someone who explained to me, an old shoshu, who explained to me about the ancient way of how a woman used to perform in the ancient days. So your first day of menstrual, or your first days of menstrual and all that, you slow down. During your menstruation, you slow down. So women used to slow down kabisa. And then 5 to 7 days after menstruation, now your energy starts coming back. Now you start, even you're motivated, you're waking up, you're doing, you're all that. And then you go down 7 days before, then again your cycle, the energy goes low. So when she explained to me that way, I started understanding myself. And I started planning my workload I plan my workload according to my cycle. There are days I go to the office and sit around. Yes, because I know there are days I can burn midnight oil and I have all the energy. Before we went for a break, I was talking about how my daughter started the cycle. And when she started the cycle, she went into the cramps. First, for me, when she started the cycle, all I did was, you know, you can get pregnant now. That conversation of how the cycle brings the and I gave out the pads, and I usually buy the pads, and that's it. 5 years down the line, the other day, we were just having a conversation, and she told me, you know, my cycle comes for about 5 to 7 days. Because I'm like, why am I buying this many pads? Do you give out in school? Have you become a charity somewhere? So she started explaining, and I thought to myself, how many of us parents really are following up on the trauma? Because there are days I'm calling school, she doesn't want to go to class, she wants to sleep. And I realized those are the days, the cycle days. For me, I'm thinking, nalipa school fees. What are you telling me you're not getting into the class? And then the teacher says, this girl can be very good, and she can be very the other side. I never understood that. Now that's what led me to starting the campaigns on menstrual conversation.
Okay, I see that. And you see, when you're talking about lazima utaenda shule, there's something that we've had for a very long time as women. You're not the first one.
Exactly.
Even our grandmas dealt with it. Na walienda shamba, wakalima, you know. So there's the stigma aspect of it is that you're not the first one. You'll definitely not be the last one.
Yes.
So what are you telling us? You can't come to work?
In our genes, we don't have pain.
You know?
What are you telling me?
What are you telling me?
My mother had no pain.
Yes.
Me, I'm just experiencing pain now. You're a teenager, unaniambia
exactly.
nini, until now you start researching and understanding.
And really getting to understand that sometimes it's not the woman not wanting to do something. Sometimes you really can't. I want to hear from you know, the girls as well, but before that, Shabet.
Yes.
Tumekufikia. Eventually, you have a very personal story, I do. And you managed to actually shift.
Yes.
With no medication, no hospitalization. Look at you smiling. Let's go back. Okay. How bad were they?
So, I'm going to be the voice of women with endometriosis in this country right now.
Yes.
I danced with endo since my official diagnosis when I was 21. So, before that, I was a late bloomer. Meaning, in high school, I wasn't first year, Form 1, girls are chilling together, guys they're talking about tampons. I'm like, what are those? So I did not know what a tampon was because I'd never needed to use a tampon. I did not know why it was necessary and how it was even meant to be used. That's when I got the nickname Gloria Mtoto because I was not a woman yet. I bet. Okay, so my periods comes when I'm in Form 4.
Really?
Yeah, Form 4. Anyway, so I was a really late bloomer. But then turns out, it wasn't that I wasn't having my periods. I think the doctor here would best explain. It was being absorbed back into the system. So I'd have spots here and there, and I'm like, yeah. But then the thing is, I would have pain through the period. Like, just through that entire period, I would have this random, you know, the issues talk about lower back pain, and I'm wondering, I don't know what is going on. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it was those things. When you're in high school, the kind of high schools we used to go to, punishment ilikuanga kubeba vitu. So maybe ni kazi nilifanya jana, ilifanya mgongo, ama kuketi sana. But no. So I go through life, my teens ikaisha, and then 2021, I started dating this incredible human being. So for whatever reason, an IUD was a really fantastic idea for us to have. So I go through a process of getting one, and then I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. I'm like, what's going on? Turns out, because of that, I had to go to Nairobi, the Nairobi imaging, Nairobi medical imaging. They did a scan. That's when they realized your problems are not even your IUD. Your problem is there are lumps in places it shouldn't be. So my first diagnosis was adenomyosis. But then later, in Aga Khan, they confirmed, no, it isn't adenomyosis, it's actually endometriosis. So what happens? I'm a 21-year-old, immediately being put on hormonal drugs because that's the only way to manage. But that isn't even the headache. The headache is that cycle used to go for at least 8 to 10 days. All of those days, I'm like, somebody is doing this with stilul in my stomach. It was ridiculously painful. And then for whatever reason, I have a really high pain tolerance. For whatever reason, I would take painkillers that would lalisha somebody. For Chebi, I'm still walking around in the street, so I have to take extra dosages so that it can make sense. So I was always in hospital month after month, and then luckily I worked in Safaricom. Aga Khan ilikuwa upstairs. So I didn't need to go so far to go for my medication. So afternoon, I start to notice the pain is starting. I just pop up upstairs and put on drips of pain medication. I lie down the whole afternoon. I'm nonsense. I'm not productive.
Did like your colleagues know? Because for so many
some
women,
knew, and most of them knew. And in fact, the worst parties were the guys are like, kwani hii tumbo yako inakuanga na shida gani? You see, the thing is, I look very demure, okay? But then for whatever reason, I can't even stand. I'm in so much pain, I can't even stand. And then it's the kind of pain that you cannot even, it keeps on going all the way to your stomach. And then the pain rushes through your back of your head, and then it comes back, you're endeshing, and every single part of your system is a mess. And then you try talk to me. Try talk to me. So my entire energy was I only have capacity for people who can use their brain. If you can't, please don't come close to me, because I don't know what I will tell you next.
Yes.
Because I'm shattered, I'm in pain, and then people are looking at you like you should have all this figured out. I was heading a team, and then at that time, I'm supposed to have figured out stuff for the team. Hakuna mtu anakupatia space ya tea. Who gives you leave days? I think there's only one country right now that gives women leave days for period, right?
Yes.
In this country, utakwa kwa hiyo ofisi, report iko wapi? So I'm barely unable to walk. I'm trying my best. Uko na ma hot bottles, sujui na manini. The friends who used to know me, they would find me in the house. I'm looking for the most coolest or sujui wapi place ya kulalisha tumbo. Let me tell you, I wanted to donate my womb. If I had the money, I would have removed that thing and thrown it to the deepest hole that I could find. I hated my experience as a woman. I hated it. I hated the way my body felt. I hated that it was 10 days of periods and it is ridiculous pain. I was like, what the hell, guys? Karibu niseme colorful language. What is going on? Like, I don't, why is it normal? Because when it started, for me, it started with pain. But then, in my head, I'm thinking it's normal. But no, this thing keeps on going worse and worse and worse. And I'm thinking, this cannot possibly be okay. But then the beauty is, because of early detection, so I know now it's managing. But mtu asikudanganye, you're managing those with those hormonal meds. But every other month, you're still not having your peace, but month ikifika at a certain point, you still start to feel a bit of discomfort. Up until 3 months zikipita, because I used to go on 3 month cycle of the hormones, I have to let the blood flow. And then 3 months, I have to let the blood flow. When I open your tap, every part of me was vibrating in pain the whole time. And then I joined this WhatsApp group for endo survivors, endo warriors in Kenya. Kai, the late, God bless her soul, was also in that group. Jambi. And then now, in that particular space, most of the advice I was getting is get a child. It will help desensitize the pain. So I go to that WhatsApp group. Mothers are like, I have a daughter. Nilimpatia endometriosis PIA. I'm like, catch me dead. I will never be a mother. If I can pass this to my child, what absolute nonsense of a sentence for life is this? I was like, never. I closed my pages on I've ever been a mother. I was like, Mimi, and being a mother?
This is it. No.
No, I'm never being a mother. There's even somebody who potentially was like, the only reason I cannot date is because if you can never be a mom. So guys walikuwa repeat hivi because kona mashida. Shida zako ni mingi. You start talking to somebody every time the month fikas, they're like, you always sick. You're always in hospital. When are you ever healthy? When are you ever okay? So it is much easier to avoid communicating, engaging with people because acha nikae na shida zangu basi.
And you see, thank you so much, Chebet, for sharing, because then you bring up different aspects of the cycle and menstruation in itself, from stigma to not being able to perform like your day-to-day activities, to people not understanding, to being judged, you know, by the cemetery. I want to bring you in now to just, first of all, just help people understand, and also Dr. Jerry, to speak on the, is it the biology and everything else that happened, because just yesterday night, for some weird reason, I was on TikTok, slept late, and guess what I see? There's like a graphic
video
of how cramps happen and the way those things do like this, and I'm like, this actually happens. So you will help us really understand all that. But Lydia, really just take us through then the mental toll and the impact that menstruation in itself can have, because I want to imagine you would dread those days.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it is, I look at menstruation as a beautiful rhythm of life for a woman. Beautiful. And when God created us and allowed us to go through this, I don't think it was meant to be a traumatic experience. It was meant to be a natural experience that was going to be renewal, that was going to be helpful to us. But now, today, based on what people go through or what we've been going through, it is turned, especially now from a psychological perspective, it's turned to be a heavy thing and a heavy issue that's really affecting people. Now, there are different, when you look at cycles, there are different cycles of a woman. And the brain functions differently. So we have the follicular part, whereby that's a springtime. Immediately after the menstruation, and then now we have the ovulation, and then after the ovulation we have the luteal. That's the downtime. Then we have the menstrual time. All right. So during the follicular time, there's a lot of energy because we're already done with the period is done. It is not as much energy as the ovulation, but that's the time you're coming back after losing a lot. So during that point, the brain, even the hormones are also coming back. Okay. During the ovulation, at that point, the body is at the high. It is at there is a lot of energy. There is a lot of, even the brain functionality is really high because the hormones are
good. You feel
good. You are energetic.
All the good stuff.
Mood swing akuna. There is a lot of productivity, ability to concentrate, and all that. And then now we go to the luteal. Now we are now getting onto the downtime. And if people that are in relationships, that's the time when they are now conflicts are already beginning because a human being, the nervous system is very sensitive and it is very reactive. And when we get to the menstrual space now, it's even worse. All right. So women go through the PMS, the premenstrual syndrome, that is a week or two before the menstruation, and there's some people that actually go through the now PMDD, that is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Okay. This is whereby now the normal, the normal experiences, the normal brain downtime now goes to the extreme, whereby now the woman experiences very high levels of emotional dysregulation. That's the time whereby there's a lot of hyperactivity in terms of the emotions. The hormones are already affecting the brain functionality. At that time, there are low levels of concentration. At that time, there's extreme moodiness. At that time, there's a lot of irritability. At that time, there's a lot of fatigue and burnout. Now that's during the menstruation. At that time, there's a lot of inability to handle stress because the nervous system is already reactive. It is really stressed. Okay, and it varies from woman to woman. There's a woman who will just experience the PMS, but there's one who will experience the extreme, the premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Now, unfortunately, if you get to the extreme, the world cannot understand because you're always in pain. I'm hearing Chebet saying that she could feel so much pain. Even her own friends knew that was a very difficult period of time. When you're at work, you're supposed to hit targets. You can't hit targets because you cannot concentrate. Your brain is not functioning maximally. Okay, during this moment, what is happening to the body? Sometimes people experience psychosomatic disorders, which are headaches, back pains, sometimes even sweating. There are women who really sweat, and it is a body reaction. It's a body reaction based on what is already happening in someone's life. So, as I said, depending on your experiences over time, your menstrual experience is can be affected by trauma and can be affected by the environmental factors, what is happening at that time. If you have a supportive team, then you can be sure you'll be able to manage that particular season. I see. Sometimes it comes with the skin is broken. Yes. Okay, acne has come. Everybody is asking, hey, Lydia, what is happening? What's happening to you? It's hormonal change. Yes. And sometimes it can affect even your self-esteem. So that is why now tunajipata trying to dunga so that and manage the face. Because now everybody can tell her, I'm now on my period, or I'm just about to get my period. The shame that comes with that, low self-esteem, low confidence, it is crazy.
And we'll look at then, how do we change? And especially when it comes to male involvement, so that the next time, say a colleague, in the office sees you like you're low, you do not want to talk to anyone, is like, just leave me alone, they would understand, and also even coming to help instead of, judging, like Chebet was saying, they're like, instead of asking those questions, how then they can help. But before that, and before Dr. Jerry, to bring you into understanding then what's normal, what is concerning and should be checked, because again, still it's a very gray area for so many women. I want to hear from the girls, your experiences, with menstruation and how it's been, how was it before, what is it that you know now that you didn't know then? I know it's like 15 questions in one, but who wants to go first? Do you want to go first? Okay, all right, and please start with your name.
Okay, so hi everyone.
Hello.
My name is Joy from Teenage Moms Empowerment. Yes. Was a beneficiary and now a volunteer.
Yay. Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, to answer the question of how I describe my menstrual, can I have an option of a tornado? Because it's not easy. It's really not easy being a woman, especially when we have parents from the old times that don't really understand now that there are mood swings. Haukatai kufanya kazi, it's just that you're moody, you have an attitude, and it's because you're on your monthly period. Yeah. Okay. So we really thank God right now. We have technology. We learn through the internet. Information is out there. You can research. You can know about it, which we didn't have back then. And when in school, it was such a taboo. We can't speak about it in the community or in the churches or at school. It's just the basic education. But right now, all information is out there. You can access it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when you say a tornado, what is it that probably you could do, you couldn't do, and even like your mental health at that point, like how were you doing during that point?
Okay, so during my menstrual periods, I really get bad cramps. Bad cramps. No painkiller works. No painkiller works. You just want to lie down on the floor. And at that moment, you have low energy. You don't feel the motivation to go to work or to do anything. And you find that at home, you're the eldest. You have to do a lot of things. It's not easy, and you can't tell your parents, I'm on my period, I can't do this, I can't do that. And she's like, I'm on my periods and I do everything. Why can't you do it?
Yes.
You see.
Yeah.
So it's really not easy, and we need to educate. We need the information, more information out there. We need to educate our parents as well, so that they can understand. And when the next generation comes, it's at least easier for the girls.
I mean, I hear you when you say educate the parents, because again, in most homes, the periods is not a conversation that we have over the dinner table. Like, we don't talk about, ni mambo ya mama na wasichana wake. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else who wants to share? Good. Okay. Start with your name, please.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Lina Kaburu from Teen Moms, and I'm so proud to be here today. I would start by describing my periods as a battle.
Okay.
Because the first thing, my periods are irregular, so I don't know when they'll start. I wake up in the morning and I find myself all soaked up. And that is where I start battling with how the day will start, how the day will be, how the day will end. Hapo ndo unaanza kuona saa umeanza moods. Umeanza saa nitaenda shule, saa nitaenda kazi. Uko like maybe at that time uko na pad. Kwa sababu nasikia ni regular. So uko like saa ni kushawa kwanza ama ni kufunga leso ndio niende ipad nje. Alafu pia hizo sijui what comes with us watu wenye tuko na hizo irregular periods. After ushajua ndio sasa hizo cramps ukuja. Ukishapata hiyo
Aikujagi before
sasa unasikia unaamka unapata umeanza. Kitanda iko hivyo ni chafu. Unaamka unashindwa saa ni bed sheets ama ni kuendea nini? Pad. Ama ni kuoga.
Ishai kupata like when you're in a public place?
Sana. Kwanza venye nilianza periods, nilianza nikiwa 13 years, nikiwa class 8. And nilianza nikiwa class. My worst subject yenye sikuwa nasikizana hadi na mwalimu social media, social studies. So yo teacher alikuwa tu anani hate. Nikamwomba ruhusa niende chooni, ile nasikia saa niko wet, niende loo. I was wondering what is happening. Nikisimama tu hivi kila mtu anacheka, nashindo mnacheka. Yo saa mimi siko rada. Nashindo nini mnacheka, mnaniangalia mnacheka. But mimi nikafikiria ni beef yangu na mwalimu juu kila mtu alikuwa anajua. So ni ile naenda kutoka, venye tu naenda kushika hivi ka dress. Nikasikia niko wet. Kwenda kuangalia mikono, nikaenda nikaomba teacher pad. But sasa unaona ile aibu ya kurudi class sasa ndo sasa hiyo battle nilikuwa nayo sana. Nilikuwa nashindwa santa rudiaje, watu wamenichekelewa shaona. Nilitokanga tu nikaenda home.
Man.
So kwenda home nikapata my mom saa hapo ndo alianza kuniambia. Niambia ni period umefikisha sasa ile wakati wa mwanamke what and what.
Yeah.
But sasa from that moment akaanza kunifunza venye mtu uhesabu masiku.
Okay.
Sa challenge nilikuwa nao ni ati na hesabu, but hiyo siku yenye nimesako yangu
mkuji.
Yeah. Itakuja sasa like a week venye nishasahau. Nimehesabu nikasahau. A week later nikilala ndo inakam sasa maybe hata sikuwa nimejipanga.
Okay.
So hizo nini alafu saa cramps unaona sasa hiyo umeona ndo cramps inaanza. Unaanza kushindwa sasa hizi ni nini. Ukienda kwa bafu utaki hata kubeba karai. Ni unasikia tu ulale. Usikii kwenda shule unasikia tu umekasirikia kila mtu. Mtu ataja kukosea by the way. Unaangalia mtu unashindwa sasa huyu ni anakaaje. Sasa ndo unaanza ngadi kuona wale watu ugly. Unaona huyu mtu ni muagli. Tena madhundo. Hizi pimples sasa ndo zina pop sasa unakaa tu. Unajiangalia hadi unashindwa huyu ni mimi au mtu mwingine. Alafu sijui sura upotelea wapi. Juu sasa hizo pimples ndo zinaonekana kuliko wewe. Unajiangalia unashangaa huyu ni mimi. Okay. So yangu mimi naweza describe ikiwa battle juu ya hizo vitu zote cramps, pimples, unaona ukiwa muagli utaki kufanya kitu. Hizo moods.
And we totally understand. Totally. And thank you for sharing. I mean to check out but it's not funny.
It's funny by the way.
It is not funny at all. How about we take a break to decompose and then when we come back we also want to hear more from you and also Dr. Jerry as well. To understand all these things, right? And also look at your feedback. So don't go anywhere. The show is Your World. We'll see you right after the break. Show. We're officially in the second hour of the conversation this morning, and we are looking at menstrual cycle and the impact that it has, and especially when it comes to our mental health and how that also impacts our day-to-day activities, whether at work, at home, in relationships, everywhere else, okay? And then we also want to look at then, so how then do we change the narrative, okay? How do we help as many people out there really understand that the next time you see someone being moody, see if they hate you, it's a face, okay? And how can you support them, all right? But the question that we're asking you this morning is very simple, and that is, how would you describe your period? Is it a battle? Is it a storm? Or is it just any other day? Let's get to hear what you have to say on our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400. How do you usually describe your period? A storm, a battle, or just another day? Okay. All right. So this one says, this is Nancy from Nanyuki who says, my menstrual is just another day. Nyinyi mliomba mkiangalia wapi? Because we need to start praying those prayers. Hi, who anasema it's a storm? Where? Okay. And then another person says, this is Lavine says, kindly I need your help. Like mimi nilienda period August until now sijawahi enda tena. So my period nilienda for 2 months. Nikienda hospitali naambiwa ni hormonal imbalance, and the meds they give me does not reduce the pain nor reduce the blood flow. I need your advice, please. Okay, Dr. Jerry, this is yours. Judith anasema hello to you too. Okay, and then do you have another one? This one says, hi there, I'm 37 years and a mom of one 8-year-old. I recently used some emergency pills just after my periods. Days later, my periods came back and I have had them for 2 weeks, but they have been irregular. Morning, I'm on my periods. During the day, they disappear. In the middle of the night, they come back. Hey, I totally understand if it's hormonal imbalance due to the pills or what is the cause, okay? All right, Dr. Jerry, 2 questions for you. This one says, my name is Constant Ben Magero, a father to daughters who fortunately haven't passed through what some of you have done. My daughter or my sister who works with Safaricom went through bad moments, but doesn't reach that of my niece, whose period was worse for 2 weeks and sometimes hospitalized. She couldn't prepare her own food or stay alone. She had been left with only 1 point, removing all my days, the uterus. She was treated with herbal medicine, which took about 1 month to heal. And now she's very normal with 3 children. Okay. Please, my daughters don't go for operation because the problem is treatable and you will have children in a normal way. God bless NTV. God bless you all. Oh, she says don't go for operation because there's a solution. Okay. All right. So Dr. Jerry, can we answer the 2 and then we hear from Chabet as well, because she's here, she's happy, she's okay, I want to believe. But yes, the 2 questions.
First of all, we have to know that there's the normal menstruation, which starts usually in something that we call menarche, that is from the age of 11 to 13 years, and usually ends at menopause, which can occur at 40 to 45 to even 50 years. Some of them nowadays we say we see early menopause that usually even occurs at age of 30.
All right.
Now, normal menstruation is supposed to be, or normal menstrual cycle is supposed to be a month. Most of the time it's 28 days. Some people will have more days, probably a week more, and some people will have lesser. That will be 23 days, 21 days, yeah? Now, during menstruation, we have phases, as our psychologist explained, and during these phases, usually, menstruation is usually the end. Now, the end meaning that now, after the luteal phase, that is now when you shed the lining that has been prepared. Now, once it is shed, then now you remain with an empty uterus that is also free and allows you to do your normal work. That is why now we talk of the moods and all that. We say they've gone. If I may explain the first question, whereby she said, I think is the issue of the pill. She used some pill, that is the emergency pill, and it
sort of like messed up the
blood flow. That means that there's some hormonal disbalance. Now, when you take these pills are hormonal, and what they do is they ensure that the right phase that was supposed to be there is not there. In that, if at all you were to get pregnant, then it has interfered with that. And you can only do that by imbalancing those hormones. So if that happens, then eventually you're going to get an imbalanced cycle, meaning that at some point you will bleed a lot. It can either be delayed or it can even be brought earlier. So that is hormonal imbalance. What you do is you need to give it time so that your body regulates. But if you don't do that, most people will again go for medication. And you see now the body was supposed to come back to normal. And if you go to get some medication again, probably over the counter, what you'll do is you can imbalance those hormones more. So most of the time we tell people to give it time, and then it will come back normal eventually.
All right.
What happens again is sometimes people overdo pills. The pills are supposed to be used only once or twice in a year. That's why they're called emergency pills. But now other people will be doing it as if they're just, that is when
emergency arises.
Unfortunately, it arises all the time.
All the time,
and that is now the problem, because you'll find somebody who uses those hormonal, those pills even 3 times in a month. And you see that you will be destabilize your hormones completely. And we will end up getting some diseases or conditions, one of them being like ovarian cysts and all that. So it's important that they know that these emergency pills are supposed to be for emergency, and that can only be once or twice in a year. The second question, just remind me the second question.
I think, is it the 37-year-old, a mom of 8-year-old? I think, Philip, if we can have that back, who says, I think she'd want to understand whether it's the irregular, I think the one who used the pills, if I'm not wrong. But Philip, if we can have that back in just a second. But as we do that, so understanding all those things and having teens who look up to you, what sort of conversations then do we need to change, when it comes to our approach to menstrual health, and even just understanding the different phases and also just helping them through the different phases?
Let's start first with parents. We really need to educate our children about menstrual. Like we say, we just give them sanitary towel, we educate them about how they can conceive, and that's it. We don't tell them how the process goes, and it's a repetition of process to even somehow adjust their mind to the trauma, or to understand there's a trauma that comes with it. Now, one of the reasons why I started these campaigns was a lot of teenage mothers talk about how they were mad at the parents right before she got pregnant. I was fighting with my mom, and this boyfriend was more of a help or somewhere I could lean on, and that's how I got pregnant. So for me, it was through the research of understanding what is the root cause of teenage pregnancy. There are so many of them, but I never really, and I don't think so many of us are talking about menstrual as one of the menstrual conversation, as one of the root cause. Because if we are able to talk and to educate our children and even ourselves, be aware of the cycle, I know when not to push my daughter. Because the moment I push her, I'm pushing her towards where she can run towards.
Okay.
It's very important to tell our daughters when we are when we are just feeling like women. You know, there are days you just wake up, no one needs to tell you you're beautiful. You just feel it, you know. And that is the day you feel like every man in this town needs to recognize I am here. It's a hormonal thing that happens in us. So, and there are days that you will feel you need to be told by 10 people you're beautiful. That's something that happens in us. So for me, that linked from there to teenage pregnancy. It came from listening to so many teenage girls talking about how they got the days. There's a day we had a campaign about how, just tell us the days before you found yourself pregnant, what was happening into your in your life. And most of them you find this cause, this place of not understanding what is going on in my body and all that, and then now going into that. And also I think something that I tend to think we should research more about is just the cycle according to the age gap, from this age to this age. For me it has happened. It's something that I'm starting to realize with myself. I'm like, okay, there's also a change. You know, if your child got period at 8 years, I've met girls who have gotten period at 8 years, they're yet even to mature, even to understand. By the time they turn 15, they're looking at it in a very different perspective. We really need to have this more comprehensive conversation about menstrual cycle.
I like that.
And even follow up. Do a follow up with your child. How is your cycle going? Is it becoming irregular? Because most of the time we realize things when they are too far gone.
Yes.
When we could have detected it in the beginning. So for me, I've developed a tendency with my daughter every month. Mommy, how is your period? When the teacher complains, I'm like, I call her, I'm like, are you on your period? Yes. How is it going? I'm like, okay, don't worry, you're going through this cycle. And this is the moment you educate them, because it's physically, they can feel it. I'm like, are you feeling, are there these symptoms? Yeah, it's because of this and this. And now be ready, because after that, in the next 5 days, you can really study hard, you can work till this time, because you see, you do it practically as we go. That is,
I mean, I hear you. Listen, I hear you. Instead of just talking, sasa ndo umekuwa mwanamke.
Na mashiro zinaanza janga na moods,
right? Talk about these other different faces. Okay, Shabet. So go to a point where you're like, you know what? If I can donate my uterus, I will, or just take it away and all those things. How were you able to sort of like
to flip the coin?
Yes.
So it's August 2021.
Okay.
I called my friend and I'm telling her, hey, I'm having my periods. She's like, okay, do I need to come take you to hospital? Do you need help? How do you want to navigate this? I tell her, no, I'm in no pain. I'm okay.
From being on the ground.
Yes.
To
yes, for
no
years.
pain.
To this moment, I'm calling and I'm telling her, I'm in zero pain. And that's 2021.
Okay.
Till today, you see this image that is in the background here? I tell you, when my period begins, it feels like flowers are bursting out of my womb.
Really?
Yes.
How?
I know. It is insane. It is a time that I want to make art, to create. It is a time that I find ways of expressing myself through projects. You see, the thing is, as a population, we've been living in separation consciousness for a very long time. We've been living in fear and survival for a very long time. And the thing about how our bodies operate, especially women, the womb is a record keeper. It's a temple. It's a space where information is stored and passed down from generation to generation to generation. The womb has its own counterpart energetic womb as well, not just the physical one. That's where your capacity to create, your capacity to express, your capacity to be intuitive, your capacity to be magnetic sits. So magneticism is not about one or this and the other. For women, it sits in the womb.
Okay.
So our disconnection from that means we're disconnected from our capacity to fully be woman. And that's a problem.
Okay.
And when I started through the journey from 21 till now, when I'm having my cycle, when I even have this walk, I call it the spiral sway.
Okay.
It's one of it. I teach it in my course, in my coaching program. It's one of the ways of activating the flow of energy in the womb center. It's important and paramount for the remembrance of restoration, for us to have a way of reconnecting to a healthy expression of the womb. It was never meant to always be painful. It was never meant to be expressed in that way. I detest conversations that talk about the fact that things like perimenopause, and all of these ways in which women are supposed to live as a sentence to pain. It isn't like that. But in lower densities where you're living in pain, you're living in survival, you're living in anger, you're living in fear, either you're in extreme freeze state or you're in extreme fight state of your nervous system, you will experience cycles that are crazy, that are painful. But there's also hope. Because I am a living testament. And that is my womb, guys.
Tunataka your dose.
Exactly. And so there are two things that are very important here to take note of. The state of your nervous system and the state of the mitochondrial health of your cells. Now, these two things are important because the nervous system brings a sense of safety to your body. Now, for women, oxytocin is a safety neurotransmitter. It's the one that befriends, that expresses, that allows to receive, that allows to connect, that allows to really be present. So it's our regulator, it's our key regulator for women. For men, it's dopamine. They get a hit, they start feeling really cool. But for women, it's different. It's oxytocin. So meaning sense of safety, embodied safety is essential for you to start shifting the state of your being. Now, that is one, right? Now, your nervous system won't fully function without energy. That's where your mitochondria comes in. And if your mitochondria is, the state of your mitochondrial health, it is impaired. And it will look like exhaustion, it will look like hauna energy. All of these stories we're talking about, it really just comes back to those two things as far as the expression of your body is concerned. Because it's a cycle. One allows safety. When the body is safe, energy is produced. And when energy is produced, safety is affirmed. So it's a cycle. I mean, everything in life is cyclic. Our own bodies are cycling in cyclic in expression. So if those two things are not properly balanced, guess what? Forget about it. You'll be medication for all your life.
So then how do we get to that balance? Because
that's what I'm saying. Regulating your nervous system is essential. That's how I began.
Breathe? Do we do yoga?
Breathing is essential. In fact, in my books, because I will not probably do yoga when we are seated here together. I will not be grounding when you're seated here together. I will not be hugging a tree or humming when we're sitting together, but I will be breathing when we're seated here together. So that's where the foundation sits. Your capacity to deeply allow breath to regulate your system. And once that is allowed into your body, now it starts to say, okay, it's not so bad. We're no longer a 5-year-old being sexually assaulted. We're no longer a 15-year-old being beaten because we were late, because tulienda kusiaga mahindi alafu tukachelewa tukakuja kutandikwa je tumechelewesha sapa. I mean, all of those traumas that we went through, and beyond even the trauma that you went through in your life, there's also ancestral that was passed from your mother to you through the womb. And that's what most of the kids who are born and they start having crazy experiences starts to carry, because you see, we've always looked at our expression as humanity from a very physical perspective. But I'm so glad we're opening to the age of information where we get to learn that it's not just physical, there's energy as well that we really need to pay attention to. So we are more energetic in expression. Like I was telling our energy body expresses from even to 100 feet actually, depending on how aligned and healed and connected to your soul you are. It's really wide, and your physical body is just this. So we learned so much about this. And also, please note, the doctor is here to confirm this. There's research that has been done is this much. As far as women are concerned, is this much. Most of, even the research that is done on regulation is mostly men-centered. The world this is a man's world, okay? So women are really now learning to find their footing in this particular existence as far as humanity is concerned, which is why there's a rise in feminine energy, feminine conversations, learning to be comfortable with and sit with emotions, learning to express, and even corporates now, recognizing that emotional intelligence is actually important for leadership, right? There's a time you express your emotions and you're a coward, you're weak, shut up. And not so long ago, there are companies still, there are conversations still today, people will be put in spaces where they'd feel terrible for expressing. And you see those, exactly. And you see those are what really creates a lot of pain in our womb spaces, because the womb will keep on absorbing. It is a record keeper. It'll collect your information, it'll collect your information. And the more you go looking at your womb as a prison instead of as a portal of expression, that baby is not going to change the way you look at it. It's going to continue confirming to you, oh, you know what, by the way, acha tani kuonyeshe venye seli ya I place inaka. Ile kukutosha tukona hii this time round, right? But it starts really simply by regulating your nervous system. I promise you, nobody's charging people yet for oxygen. Nobody's charging you yet for breathing. Nobody, but if you want to learn how to actually have a workshop coming up on the 15th of November, and I'm happy to sit you down and teach people exactly techniques and tools of how to do this, because like I said, breathing is one thing, but the technique of actually doing it is what we don't have.
But will you teach us just like Evie before we end the show, just like simple, like 1 minute,
we can do a breathing round, but hizo zingine mtafu kunitafu.
I mean, listen, and we respect that. Absolutely respect that. Okay, there's a question, Dr. Jerry, for you, and we're due on a break. But can we, Philip, can we go through the question? Okay, good, thanks. Okay, this one says, hi, I am loving kindly. I need your help. Like mimi nilienda period August until now sijawahi enda tena. So my period inaenda for 2 months. Nikienda hosi naambiwa ni hormonal imbalance, and the medication they give me, it does not reduce the pain nor reduce the blood flow. I need your advice. So that was the first question. Yeah, we tackled the 37-year-old one. So I hope you remember that one, okay? This one says, hello. I am a dad and I have a daughter, 11 years. How can I make her feel comfortable with me to share the problem she is facing in body changes? I want to just take care of her so that not being taken advantage from boys. Oh, I really like that. I really like that. Okay, do you want to tackle that? Yeah, okay, all right. And then this one says, good morning, your world. My period juggles between another day and a battle, more so, a battle with my energy levels. Okay, I bet you'll help us then understand, what to do with that. And then this one says, so as a guy who was brought up in a house full of women, I never saw the big deal with menstruation. My aunts and women cousins would send me to the shop to buy pads. I never understood the stigma and shame around it. As an adolescent boy in primary school, there's this lady I had a crush on, and for her birthday, I bought her pads, and presented it to her in public, because to me, it isn't a big deal. But the class reaction was overwhelming for her. She got ashamed, rejected it, but later on came to ask me to give it to her. We need to destigmatize menstruation. It is a natural thing. We need to also declare war on period poverty. My name is Alex, watching from Utawala Estate. Oh, thank you so much, Alex. That is so sweet. I hope you still buy pads and just give to random people, right? I really hope you still do that. Okay, and then do you have another one? Okay, this one says, hello team, thanks for the sensitive topic. How does menstruation affect conception? And does it mean that one can menstruate but not conceive? I am a mother of 2 in my late 30s. God bless. Okay, Doc, will you remember those? I hope you're noting down. And then this one says, hi, starting my period was smooth, but hell broke loose after I had an accident in an almost fatal flash flood. Oh, I'm sorry. Says I was hit by staff and I was admitted in a hospital for a week. On the day I left the hospital, I started bleeding terribly, such that I changed clothes thrice traveling home. From then, it's been tough. Ovulation is more painful, menses are more, and take about a week, and back pain is excruciating. Hey, Paul, I can only, hey. Hi, this one says, hello there. I am Miriam. I had irregular periods like 2 months ago, but after using the birth control pills, my periods are now very regular. Hiya, okay. And then this one says, good morning, I am 45 years old. Recently, I've been experiencing spotting for 2 to 3 days before my periods. Initially, I used to attend menses for at most 4 days. But about 4 months now, it takes 7 or 8 days to dry up. Is there a problem? Okay. And then this one says, hello, I am Joanne. Since last year, April, I haven't seen my periods. Last year, April, okay. In my early childhood, I had 3 operations due to ovarian cysts, and now I am infertile. Oh, the tube is blocked in 2021. I have been using fertility drugs that I stopped in 2023. What may be the cause for this missed period for that long? Okay. Then this one says, hey, why have we left out the men and the boy child from menstrual conversation? What is their contribution in this? How do they come in? We have a guy here, and doctor. But we hear you, and we'll let you know. Okay, then this one says, hello, my name is Sarah. Throughout my life, I have had very painful periods. I could vomit, diarrhea, have clothes. I couldn't do anything, just sleep. If I'm at work, my first 2 days, I could not work. I have been admitted in hospital at first. I thought ni endometriosis, but I was told it's hormonal imbalance. I was told to take family planning pills, but I did not. But periods were regular, lasted for 5 days. But I tell you, when I visited a gynecologist, he told me to take the pills for 3 months, but it became normal later on. I got a baby last year, and my periods are very okay and normal and no more pain. Wow, okay. And then this one says, I get very irregular periods. They will stay for 2 months without coming, and if I go to the hospital, they're always saying, I am pregnant. Go take a lab test later. I am not, and then they tell me I am okay, itakuja tu, that I shall not worry, okay? Then says, when it comes, the minimal days I have had is a week. Mostly it's 2 weeks, and it's heavy. Cramps are cramping, so painful. When you tell someone they are like, kwani ni wewe wa kwanza kunyesha, aki that statement. And then they continues to say, and anytime I ask even the internet for help, it says about pills, which I don't use, about environment, and I neither travel a lot. For example, this year, I've had my menstruation twice, in January and in September. Then I mostly, in the beginning or end, have black blood. Am I okay? All right. And then there's another one that says, hello there, enjoying today's show, breaking the floor of silence. My experience was wild and came with ovarian cysts and hormonal imbalance, not forgetting irregular cycles. Oh, wow. Then this one says, I am Judith, watching from Homa Bay County, Kendu Bay. A woman's body is very complicated. The major concern that we must know is that our body is controlled by hormones, and God created us uniquely, that at a given time and periods in our lifetime, certain things needs to take place in our body system. But the world today we're living in comes with a lot of things, and this is where we are not aligned with God's purpose in a woman's life. When a woman reaches puberty stage, the body organs changes, develops, and this process requires good nutrition and attention, or readiness for other developments. Growth and continuity develops into active reproductive system. But the kind of lifestyle, meals and activities, whether schooling or working or even home activities, it's okay, ameni ajamaliza. Where tupumzike? Doc, do you we didn't remember all those questions. So many questions, which we'll tackle after the break. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot. Watch out to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll try and answer all your questions before we say goodbye, and also hear from our lovely audience as well, right here with us. So let's take a breather. We'll see you right after. All right, welcome back. 32 minutes past the hour. Time flies. There's so much that we need to cover on the conversation today, and that is breaking the flow of silence. And we're tackling menstrual cycle and the impact it has on mental health, which in turn affects every other cycle of our lives, okay? And the question that we're asking you today is, how do you usually describe your period? A storm, a battle, or just another day, okay? Some of you have said another day, another person said a battle, ngine akasema storm, tukaambiwa hapa tornado, yeah? It's a whole lot, okay? But before we went on a break, there were so many questions. Hey, where to start? Will you remember yours? Yes. Dr. Jerry, I know yours are like this, but it's okay, we'll try, but yes. Good, Lydia.
So one of the questions was from a father of an 11-year-old girl who is asking, being a father of this 11-year-old, how can I connect? How can I grow my relationship with my daughter so that she can open up to me and share with me whatever she wants? Yes. And I am really what do I say? I'm amazed. I am
Same.
happy. It's
beautiful to actually
You want
hear
to connect with your daughter.
Yeah.
That really means a lot. I think, especially in regard to menstrual cycle, a man desiring to know how the daughter is doing and how they are handling it. That is really recommendable. And even for many fathers out here, I think it is time for us to start normalizing having these tough conversations. Now, this reminds me, takes me back to that age after my period. The first time I got my period, I think this must have been like the third or so time. I remember I went to visit a certain teacher, and when we were with my 2 girlfriends. So when we stayed there, I was on my period, and for some reason, I could tell that I was leaking, but I couldn't tell. I was soaking. I couldn't tell the teacher, and the teacher was a lady. I couldn't tell her, kindly allow me to, can I leave and go change or something? I had the pads and all that, but because of the stigma that comes those days that came with the menstruation, I stayed. I stained the seat, and I remember leaving. Up to date, I still imagine when that lady came to my seat and found the seat stained, what does she think of me? And you know, that comes with shame. So I carried shame regarding menstruation, and for me, in my mind, period is shameful. It is not part of a woman. It's not, there's nothing beautiful about it. So that way I carried trauma. That is trauma by itself. I know as a father, now speaking to this father, you'll need to hear, have conversations with your daughter. You'll hear the things that are actually shameful for her, the things that she's uncomfortable. You know, you'll have very uncomfortable conversations. How do you build this? Every human being seeks emotional safety. The moment you're able to get somebody into emotional safety, then it becomes very easy for them to open up to you and to talk to you. That is why for us as counselors and psychotherapists, the first thing we look at is when a client is coming into office, how friendly is the space? How am I opening up? Am I smiling? Am I, stonewalling when this person is coming in? What kind of conversations am I releasing? What energies? Am I being judgmental? That's why with counseling we do not judge. All right. That is why is this person's a safe space that she can be confidential. She can keep my information. So now, as a father, before you even begin having conversations how safe is a space between yourself and your daughter. And I'll start looking for ways with which you can, use maybe playing games with your daughter, sharing your past, being vulnerable with her, opening up about your growing up, sometimes even about your sisters, because now she's a girl. There are those times when, as you are growing up, if you had sisters, maybe your mother, some of the things you could see, and you think they can relate with her, and then now with time, assure her, affirm her, allow her to know that we can talk about anything and everything without judgment, and I will ensure that I'll be there for you.
I like that. Sort of like extend an invitation and make her feel safe in the first place. I like that. I've seen fathers actually go to the supermarket and buy pads with their daughters, and I'm like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and Dr. Jerry, so you're here representing the male, together with the fact that you are a gynecologist, which is a good thing as well. So there's a question about how do we involve the men and the boys who are up in this conversation, how do they fit in? But at the same time, there's a question on irregular periods, pills as well, and emergency pills. There was another question on ovarian cysts, and then there was another question on black blood. So I don't know if you can sum them up.
Representing the boy child.
Yes.
I believe that we've been demonized a lot because of how we act. Sometimes we don't understand the girl child, especially during the tender ages. All
right, let's exchange your mic. Can we have the handhelds? Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm representing the boy child.
Yes.
And most of the time we've demonized the boy child because of how they act. Sometimes they don't understand what is going on, and when probably, let's say for example, if you have a girlfriend and she acts the way she does because of the menses, what happens usually is we don't have the information. So I would really encourage a lot of education, information, and just awareness, creating awareness, even to the boy child, so that at least they understand the girl child to ease the situation. Now, if I may go to now the questions, I'll probably just sum them up as one, yeah? Most of the time, we have different types or different type of condition or different conditions causing menstrual disorders. Let me just say menstrual disorder, not necessarily pain or anything, yeah? Okay. One of them could be, as we said, endometriosis. Another one could be hormonal imbalance, but we also have different types of conditions. Like, for example, we could have probably fibroids. Fibroids in different places could also cause a lot of bleeding and probably a lot of pain during menses. Sometimes we have conditions that might arise from the ovaries itself, like polycystic ovarian disease. And all these conditions must be looked at before we conclude that is hormonal imbalance. Because now that is going to the first question. She said she's been told that she has hormonal imbalance and she's used medication and nothing has happened. She could be having different conditions, other conditions that may cause the same. So it's important for her to go and be checked so that they can ascertain what exactly is causing the problem. If I just summarize, is that once we get the real condition that is causing all this, then treatment is per the condition that is found. Okay. So sometimes others will come as a result of hormonal imbalance, but that is not the entire cause of menstrual problems.
Oh, I see. Okay. Don't just assume that, maybe it's just hormonal imbalance. Could be something else, so just go get checked. And especially for the one who talked about black blood, I think that is something that probably needs to be checked, right?
We can have even endometriosis causing that. Sometimes over-bleeding could even have cancer of the uterus that can as well lead to black blood towards the end of the menses, probably at the beginning of the condition, when the condition is still young, small, then that could also be one of the causes of black blood.
Okay. All right, should we take more questions? Just to remind you the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is, how would you describe how do you usually describe your period? Is it a storm? Is it a battle? Or just another day? Once again, how do you usually describe your period? Is it a storm? Is it a battle? Or is it just any other day? Let's get to hear what some of you have to say on WhatsApp. This one says, hello. No, I think this is the one that we handled, I think. Livia, during menstruation, I always express. Okay. This one says, hello, I'm Sheila from Kirinyaga. I am 25 years old now and have never seen my periods, but monthly I experience cramp pains and I fear the possibility of me being barren. What could be the problem? I cannot manage to seek medical attention because it's expensive. Is there a way this campaign can help me? So she's 25, has never had her period. I don't know, Dr. Jerry, if this is something to probably, I don't know, something that you can help with that. And then another person says, my question, hello NTV, I'm keenly following, this is Masika from Kiambu, says, my question is it possible for someone to be pregnant during their period? Okay. And then this one says, as a dad, how can you help your daughter when the mother is not around? I think, Jerry, this is more of your question. Yes. As a dad, how do you help your child when the mom is not around?
So we start, like Lydia said, create a safe space. And then I keep on saying there are so many organization projects that really deal with girl child. Work in there, create a relationship, because that could be a source of information for your daughter. But I keep on saying the parent is the first source, trusted source of information. So you don't take your daughter to other people or to other people to just take care of that child. No, you as a parent first create that safe space. And if you cannot, because we also have to think about the older generation, look for the auntie. who is nearby. Look for a friend who can be more open to this child as you're navigating your own. Let's remember you are the most trusted source. And I keep on saying there are so many, we live in the informational era right now. One of the things as a parent you can do is also provide books for your child and then come and do a revision with your what did you, don't just give them and then walk away. And then another thing is going to a therapy session. Something that I've realized so many parents are doing now. You walk into a therapy session, go see a psychologist, not because you're going through something, you just want to understand each other. And during that could be a way for you to create a safe space. For us in our organization, we have something we call mentorship every Saturday. We usually have mentors to come depending on the topic. We can talk about SRHR, that is sexual health and reproductive. We talk about it and we break it down. These are the days now we invite the high school girls to come and sit. There are days we have campaigns, for example, us as former teenage mothers, we tell our story. We sit there and say, hey, manze, apa, ndio kaliomananga. Come and learn from me so that you don't have to go through the same. And I encourage a lot of parents to engage. I personally on Facebook, Njeri Kabiru, TikTok, I'm very vocal about
very loud
it.
On TikTok.
Very loud. And I go with my menstruation out on the street and people talk crazy. I've been told it's dirty. By the way, so many women beat me up. Yani, there's a video I did, I had like 4 million reach. In the 4 million reach, it was 90% women telling me it's dirty, don't walk like that. And that is the reason why I'm walking out. Very soon mtaniona hii town nikizunguka na menstrual. Nagoja period yangu next. The next period I'm walking in this CBD. And the reason why I'm doing these campaigns and being vocal about it is because we have to come out. As I finish, I want to say scarcity creates demand. Lack of sanitary products is creating the need of everyone to take whatever is there. This goes to now legislation, governance and all that. I really encourage our government to start a production center. Kama vile tunakuanga na kichinjio cha nyama. Even if we import nyama, we know we have one in the river, guarded by the military. You can't just enter there to, you know. Doctor is laughing. I am really encouraging that we talk more about it. I love the way Akina Janet Bugo, Akina this Gloria and this other people in the parliament. Janet is not from the parliament. I'm just saying shout out because she really talks about this. We are talking more about menstrual and putting and also challenging, lack of a better word, men to understand what we go through, because you cannot just hear and understand. So tueleweni, atuwa demonize, tuna explain. So for the father, kindly create a safe space. For a mother, create a safe space and do a follow-up. It's not a one thing and that's it. Do a follow-up. Monthly it can be creepy, but maybe after 3 months, just tell them, how is it? And I started telling my daughter, I'm not asking because she used to think, I ask because of the pregnancy, or am I engaging in sex and all that? No. I educated her and said, this is something that we need to keep on check on it because this can be a sign of showing you what is happening inside your body. And she went like, now we keep tabs. This one was light, this was dark. Because when you go to a gyna, you want to have this information at hand. I think it would help. Thank you
so much, Njeri. There's someone who asked about energy. Like they feel so energy, and I think the bigger question would be then, how do you connect? First of all, recognize how you're feeling and just appreciate how you feel, because most of the time we want to move away from what we're feeling. It's like, I'm feeling low, what can I do to make myself feel better? But sometimes we don't stay and just acknowledge how we're feeling. So then how do we connect?
You see, one of the things that is very interesting about the female menstrual cycle is this. Period blood is the only blood that's shed without violence. Nobody has to die, nobody has to be cut, nobody has to be attacked for us to release the period blood. So there's something deeply spiritual and powerful about that being just that as a fact. And from my point of view, if you look at the historical, traditions, the Eastern traditions and how they perceived women in their periods, that's the time that they're in their most powerful state, which is why we are told by the organized religions that wanted to demonize women that's the time you're dirtiest. And you see, we've accepted that to be so true as a collective tribe belief about women that another woman would beat you and demonize you for being very vocal about your periods, which is really, really sad. And I'm really hoping that such conversations and spaces can start airing light towards lightening the load. And one of the things about even how I handle my cycle, it has changed. I no longer use pads. I have no desire for them. I use cups, so that I can be able to safely collect and discharge my period from a place where I have a lot more control. So it's taking my power back. Okay. The thing about being in your periods is this: you're really potent. Your energy is really open. And when your energetic field is really open and you're coming from a place of survival, it means that instead of you transmuting that energy, you become a portal for things overloading your field. Okay. So you start to become a lot moody. We start, all of these symptoms we're talking about is signs and symptoms of tears in our energetic field. Okay. But when you have a lot more command of your energetic essence and field, the way you experience your periods, your energy levels, I create in my periods. I am fully expressive in my periods. For whatever reason, when I'm teaching, because I do training as well, when I'm on my cycle, I'm the most vibrant of the people in that space. I'm able to use that moment to channel energy through me and serve the people that I'm serving in a place that brings me so much joy, and they can feel that joy across the room. So our energy levels, I will still come back to the state of your regulation, because if you're not regulated, and I think the beautiful thing about the universe is this: it will put a poisonous tree here, and then right next to it, there's an antidote for it. We will go through crazy experiences in our bodies. Right next to our nervous system, there's a vagal nerve, which is the highway for regulation. So if we can be able to tap into activating that and being in a state that allows us to have a regulated state, and I'm not saying you're always feeling joyous at 24/7, absolutely no, that's not regulation. You're able to have a really good flow between the extremes and find a really good balance for yourself. That when you feel your emotions, you must sit in that space. You must allow yourself to experience it. Running and demonizing it and shutting it down and suppressing what you're feeling, hiding your blood, hiding your experience is what continues tearing your energetic field, and it will not support you towards experiencing a balanced expression of yourself as a woman. But if you can truly allow yourself to sit in that space and give yourself the grace, if it's painful now, Chebet, I'm telling you, this way is my camera. Okay. It will not always be painful if you can allow yourself to find regulation. Oh, that one. Yes. If you allow yourself to find a regulated state, it will not always be painful. But in this moment, if it is, sit in that pain and ask yourself, in what ways can I transmute this pain to be something better tomorrow? That literally ways we can do this. There are ways we can do this. If you're looking to know how, and I'm not even just discussing now endo or even fibroids and all of those female issues related, any form of physical ailment, to be honest. If you can allow yourself to be regulated, I have gone through a number of issues in my body that I was told I would live with them till I die. Yeah, I'm the most healthiest version of me I've ever been. We can get there, but you kind of have to allow yourself the space, sit in what you're going through right now, because there's a reason God gave you that burden to carry, so that you can become a light to somebody else tomorrow. Don't go without finding out that wisdom. And if you're looking for help, there are spaces, there are wisdom here seated in this table. I have a session on the 15th of November. Go to my profile, I am Gloria Chebet, is my username all across. Come, let's talk about how to transmute, how to activate the body's intelligence, because that's the one thing that if we don't look at right now, especially with the artificial intelligence age, we will easily give away our capacity to come into full power when we don't understand what it looks like to activate capacity to be fully human, which is why I'm a human intelligence coach, guys.
Look at that. Even like the way you speak it, like there's a flow. You can tell there's a flow, going on. Okay. 4 minutes, kabla tumalize show. I want to hear from you guys. So then understanding this, what is it that you wish you were told about periods, for example, or what is it that you wish we can change when it comes to our approach and our conversations around periods? Very quickly, like a minute or so. Who wants to go first quickly? Okay, do you have the mic? All right, go.
Naitwa Chirian. Na kitu ningetaka kuambiwa wakati naanza periods ni the kind of experience you to experience ukianza.
Okay.
Na saka mimi venye nilianza period yangu, pads zenye nilikuwa natumia zilikuwa zinanichoma. So kabla ufigure out kenye utatumia enye itakufanya uko comfortable ilikuwa ngumu.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Thank you. Because we're not told that Wambiwi. All right, thank you so much for that. Okay, anybody else? Okay.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Bianca.
Hi, Bianca.
And me, I would really like nilianza periods pia nilikuwa natakanga niambiwe which type of pads to use. To me, I have a heavy flow, so I used to change my pads almost 3 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if I had a dress or anything, I should confirm if I've leaked. Yes.
I see. Okay. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Okay.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Masila Viv. Kitu ningependa tuambiwe tukianza period is that si wasichana ni waoga. And at some point, let me say like me, nikianza period, nilikuwa muoga to an extent I never told my mom. Nilikuwa nina use saa zingine unapata nimetumia mattress, nimetumia nguo kwa sababu siwezi nikasema what I'm experiencing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Safe space. What you talked about. Yes. Create that safe space. Okay. One last one.
Okay. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I'm Maggie. Kenye kwa kusema ni kuwa vile period ni kwa nataka kuelimishwa vile cramps unaweza zimanage because unaweza pata uko na a very tight cramp and then the next cycle iko light. Sa ni kwa nataka hiyo education kila mtu ajue vile anaweza handle cramps zake in every cycle.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Kuna mmoja nisifungie nje. Okay. Haya, go.
My name is Lina Kaburu. Na ningetaka kujua more about that period trauma juu I think I'm experiencing it. Ningetaka kujua more of it.
All right.
Just sometimes nafikirianga watu wengi wana understand tiki go through periods.
Okay.
So ningetaka kujua more of period trauma.
Period trauma. I hear that. Okay. Tuko na 1.5 minutes. Okay. And we need to like literally bring the show to an end. Do you understand? Very quickly, in terms of now, how then do we move forward? And for those people, you know, kama mesema, those who are experiencing, say, like menstrual trauma, how then can they sort of like change that, be better, get better in like 30 seconds? That was it, 25. I know.
Is that Tosha?
Try.
All right. Wacha tujaribu. So I'd say this, that going through things and being scarred in life, going through pain is normal and it is part of life. And it's time that we internalize that, we accept it. But also, as Chebet said, every time you go through an adverse condition or situation, there is always a solution just next to you. So what I would encourage, if you're going through menstruation trauma, period trauma, anxiety that comes with that, seek psychological therapy, psychotherapy. That's why we are here. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm a marriage and family therapist. And with me, actually, I carry a book called Inner Rise. It's called Journey Beyond Trauma by Doreen Oshira, one of the counselors in my firm. And I'd recommend read such kind of a book even without therapy. You just buy the book. It has all the needs, the ways with which you can be able to manage your brain, how you can manage anxiety, so that you can be able to live a fruitful life. So check my website, Lydia Karimi, www.lydiakarimi.co.ke or ageconsultlimited.com. You will get the book and you will reach us. We'll give you psychological support that you need.
Thanks, Lydia. All right, Dr. Jerry.
First, I would want to say that menstruation is normal. It's a biological process that every girl or every woman should undergo. And we should not shy away from talking about it. And if there's any need for any medical attention, please don't, anybody should not feel should not feel like not seeing a doctor. So you should see a doctor. Personally, I am Director Medical Health Services. That is a facility in Embakasi, and we deal with many girls and many women with issues to deal with menstruation. So feel free, you can Google or you can go even to Facebook, find Medical Health Services, or even Dr. Jerry Okello at TikTok. Yes, I'm in TikTok.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So find us there, and if there's any need of help, please don't feel shy.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. Jerry?
Yes. For me, I will start with affirmative action.
Yes.
The government, institutions, we all need to start affirming and acting. And I want to thank NTV for this today, and I hope you will continue with this conversation. Absolutely. It doesn't end here, because the more we have affirmative action, the more we are able to educate other people. And I want to call on parents and tell them it's your responsibility to ensure your child goes through a healthy cycle. And as I finish, I want to invite all of you to the graduation of our girls from Teenage Moms Empowerment. Every year we graduate girls. This year we're graduating 75 girls.
Wow.
Who have gained vocational training, and it's on 28th of November during the 16 days of activism. And we are talking about, of course, gender-based violence, and we're talking about menstruation. Karibuni sana. Join me on Facebook and TikTok, Njeri Kabiru, where we talk about blood and the beauty of blood.
Fantastic. Chevet, ukona literally 20 seconds. Sorry, I know.
Listen, my sitting here is to give you one message. There's hope. That's it. I went through massive acne, my face, my front, my chest, my back. I went through brain fog, severe anxiety, severe depression. I went through physical ailments. Wait, I was 120 something kgs at some point. I'm seated here telling you there's hope. That's it.
Oh, I like that. What a way to end the show. There is hope. And thank you so much for coming, like each and every one of you, really, and tackling menstrual health from a totally different perspective, not just the physical, but mindfulness, psychological, and of course, from a point of advocacy. We need to do this. So, Asante Sana, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, girls, for also speaking to us. And thank you for sticking with us until the end of the show. That is where we say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Stay safe. Continue with the conversation. See you tomorrow right here on Your World. Goodbye.